This audiobook unveils the most powerful law and the hidden temple of your mind. Within its walls lie the keys to wealth, love, freedom, and divine remembrance. If you stay until the end, you will not leave as the same self who pressed play. You will emerge as one who sees, one who knows the secret law by which the universe bends. Introduction. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a temple. Its doors are carved from light itself. They do not swing on hinges, but open to the vibration of your thought. As you step inside, you feel the air shimmer, alive with presence. Columns rise like eternal beams, and at the center burns a flame that has never gone out. This flame is the power of visualization, the sacred art of seeing with the inner eye until the outer world bows to its command. Visualization is no idle fantasy. It is the sculptor's hand shaping reality from the invisible clay of thought. What you dare to imagine with clarity, with faith, with emotion, becomes as inevitable as sunrise. Every empire, every invention, every love story was first an image, tenderly held in the theater of the mind before it found expression in stone and flesh. Your mind is not a mirror reflecting what is, but a projector casting what will be. Most live as though the screen dictates the film, but you are here to reverse the order. To awaken as the dreamer who knows, the screen is nothing without the light behind it. When you learn to master this inner cinema, the outer world becomes your stage, not your cage. Picture this. A river of light flows through you, carrying visions to the shore of matter. If you dip your hands into this river with doubt, the waters scatter. But if you lower your hands with certainty, knowing the current will obey, the river delivers what you have chosen. It does not question. It does not delay. It simply responds. There is a secret doorway inside you. Few discover it. Even fewer dare to walk through. This doorway opens when you allow yourself to feel what is not yet seen, to live inside the reality of your desire before the world has made it visible. Step through this doorway, and you begin to live not from memory, but from prophecy. You become the author of your own scripture. Consider the seed. It does not doubt that it will become a tree. It does not question how the soil will split or how the rain will arrive. It only holds the image written into its essence and trusts the law to fulfill it. You are no different. Within you is an image, a divine blueprint, waiting to be nourished by your attention. Visualization is the water, the sunlight, the sacred tending of that inner seed. Do not mistake this art for wishful dreaming. True visualization is immersion. It is to step into the inner scene so completely that the senses forget the difference between imagined and actual. It is to feel the warmth of the sun in a future morning, to hear the laughter of a friend not yet met, to touch the fabric of a garment you have not yet worn, until the universe itself must bow and deliver. And so, as you journey with me through these chapters, you will discover not theory, but practice. Not abstraction, but a living law that bends to your touch. You will be guided into sacred exercises where your breath, your attention, and your imagination weave together like threads of gold. You will learn to see not as the world has taught you, but as creation itself demands, from the end, as though it were already so. This is the eternal flame. This is the hidden temple. This is the art of visualization, the power to dream with such conviction that the dream awakens as reality. As you step deeper, remember, nothing is withheld from the one who dares to see. Chapter 1. The Inner Flame. There is a flame that does not burn with fire. It burns with vision. It is the eternal light of the mind's eye, the power that paints the unseen into the seen. To discover this flame is to discover creation itself. For everything you touch, every word you speak, every circumstance you encounter, all first pass through this hidden fire. The invisible became visible, the imagined became form, and whether you know it or not, you have been tending this flame all your life. But here lies the difference. Most tend it unconsciously, feeding it with fears, doubts, and shadows. And so the flame projects nightmares onto the screen of reality. Few awaken to the truth. The flame obeys not morality, but focus. It does not ask whether your vision is small or vast, bright or dim. It only creates. Now imagine this. Your mind is a sacred cinema. The seats are empty, the lights dim, the curtain waiting. What film will you allow to play tonight? The choice is yours. And yet, most people replay the same reels. Memories of pain, stories of loss, scenes of fear. They do not know they can take the director's chair, call cut, and write a new script. You can. Visualization is that script. It is the declaration to the universe. This is the film I choose to live. Pause and breathe. Let us step deeper. Picture yourself walking through a forest at twilight. The path winds between ancient trees. You feel the hush of the earth as though it is holding a secret. Ahead, a clearing opens, and at its center stands a single lantern glowing with steady fire. You approach and realize this lantern is your own imagination. It has always been here, waiting for you to return. Every image you place into this flame glows brighter until it becomes real. This is not fantasy. This is law. The Hermetic sages declared, "As within, so without." The Vedic seers spoke of manas, the inner faculty of vision, as the bridge between thought and world. Even the Christ said, "According to your faith, so be it done." Faith is not hope. It is the seeing of the end before the eyes can prove it. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young sculptor in a small village. He was poor, with only clay and his bare hands. Yet every night before he slept, he would close his eyes and imagine a great statue, taller than a man, radiant as a god. He saw every detail, the folds of the robe, the curve of the jaw, the light falling on its face at dawn. For years he held this vision while shaping little figures in the day. One evening, a wealthy traveler passed through his village. Seeing the sculptor's small clay figures, he asked, "Do you have anything greater?" The sculptor smiled, closed his eyes, and whispered, "Yes, follow me." He led the traveler to his hut, where no statue yet stood, only the vision in his mind. But he spoke of it with such clarity, such conviction, that the traveler believed he had seen it. He gave the sculptor gold enough to buy marble, and soon what was once a dream became stone, and what was once stone became admired across kingdoms. The statue now stands in the city square, though the sculptor has long returned to dust. What remains is not just his art, but the truth his life whispered. Reality bends to the one who sees it first within. And so with you. When you close your eyes tonight, will you replay the shadows, or will you dare to see a brighter world? Will you imagine yourself still bound, or will you step into the image of your freedom, your wealth, your joy, as though it already is? This is the sacred responsibility of the flame. But how, you ask? How do you make this vision real? Listen. The key is not struggle, but surrender. Do not force the image, let it rise gently, like mist upon a still lake. Then step into it. Do not watch yourself from afar, as though you were only a spectator. Become the actor. Feel the texture of the moment, the sound, the weight, the taste. If you imagine wealth, feel the cool weight of the coin in your palm, the ease in your chest as debts vanish, the quiet dignity of knowing you are free. If you imagine love, feel the warmth of another hand in yours, the softness of their laughter, the sacred safety of being fully seen. If you imagine health, feel the strength in your limbs, the joy of waking with energy, the gratitude for every breath. Emotion is the brush that paints the vision onto the heart. Without feeling, the image is only a shadow. With feeling, it becomes seed, and the soil of reality must bring it forth. Sacred practice. Tonight, before you sleep, sit in silence. Close your eyes. Let your breath grow soft. Then choose a single scene, one that represents the life you desire. Step into it as though it is happening now. Feel every detail until the scene is more real than the walls around you. Fall asleep inside this vision, for what you sleep in, you will awaken to. Remember, the flame does not question, it only creates. Chapter 2. The Mirror of the Mind. There is a mirror inside you that does not reflect your face. It reflects your belief. It shows not the world as it is, but the world as you expect it to be. Most gaze into this mirror without knowing. They look upon themselves and see only fragments, a reflection of past mistakes, echoes of old wounds, fears inherited from voices long silenced. And so the mirror repeats these images faithfully, projecting them outward until life itself seems to confirm them. But here is the mystery. The mirror does not wait for the world to act. The world waits for the mirror. Life is not happening to you. It is happening through you. The mirror is the first cause, the secret architect. And once you learn to turn this mirror toward light, the entire world shifts its shape. Pause and breathe. Feel this truth. The sages of Egypt declared it long ago. The all is mind, the universe is mental. The yogis of India spoke of Maya, the play of appearances born from thought. Even the mystics of Jerusalem whispered, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." All traditions agree, reality is a mirror, and you are its master. Imagine a pool of still water. When the surface is calm, it reflects the sky. Clouds drift, stars shimmer, and the moon bends low to kiss its face. But when the water is troubled, the reflection shatters. The sky has not changed, only the surface that holds it. So it is with your mind. When you hold an image with calm certainty, reality reflects it back with precision. When you waver, fear, or scatter your attention, the mirror fractures. Now, let me tell you a parable. Once, in a faraway city, there lived a merchant known for his misfortune. He sold silks, but his shop was always empty. He prayed for customers, but they did not come. One evening, he wandered to the river, where an old mystic sat watching the water. The merchant cried out, "Why does fortune never smile upon me? I have prayed, I have worked, but only ruin follows." The mystic pointed to the river. "Tell me, merchant, what do you see?" "Ripples," the man replied. "The sky is broken, the stars scattered." "Look closer," said the mystic. "The river is not broken. It only reflects your restlessness. Sit. Wait until the water is still." The merchant sat. Time passed. Slowly the ripples calmed. At last the water became glass, and the stars shone unbroken. "Now," said the mystic, "do you see?" The merchant nodded. Yes, the river reflects as it is. The mystic smiled. And so does your life. Still your mind, change your belief, and the mirror will change. The merchant returned to his shop. That night he closed his eyes and imagined customers crowding his stall, the silk flowing into eager hands, the joy of coin pressing into his palm. He felt it until it seemed more real than the darkness around him. Night after night he fed this vision. Soon the mirror of his mind grew still. Within months his shop overflowed with prosperity, and those who once pitied him now asked for his secret. He would only smile, remembering the river, and so it is with you. The mirror of your mind does not lie. It shows you exactly what you most deeply believe. You may speak words of abundance, but if the mirror holds poverty, your life will echo poverty. You may pray for love, but if the mirror reflects unworthiness, you will only meet its image. The law is exact, and it bends for no one. But here is the gift. The mirror obeys your hand. You can choose the reflection. You can turn from shadows to light. You can lift your gaze from the fragments of memory to the wholeness of vision. And the moment you do, the outer world begins its slow but certain rearrangement. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your mind as a vast mirror, endless and shining. Upon its surface, every thought, every feeling leaves an impression. The fearful image dulls the glass. The radiant vision polishes it. The more you choose the latter, the brighter your reflection grows, until the world itself cannot help but echo your radiance. But beware the trap. Many seek to polish the mirror by force. They chant affirmations while still doubting. They visualize while still fearing. They declare abundance while clutching scarcity in their chest. The mirror does not respond to words alone. It responds to belief, to felt knowing. To see differently, you must feel differently. This is the alchemy. Think of the actor. He does not merely say lines. He enters the role until his heartbeat, his breath, his gaze become the character. For those moments on stage, he forgets himself, and the audience believes. So too must you become the actor of your desired life. Step into it so fully that your body cannot tell the difference. Your mind will mirror the role you inhabit, and the world will mirror the mind. Sacred practice. Tonight, stand before a literal mirror. Look into your eyes and choose one vision you wish to see reflected in your life. Do not speak it faintly. Declare it silently with full embodiment, as though it already is. See yourself wealthy or loved or radiant with health. Hold the gaze until you feel the shift. A quiet click inside, as if the image has settled. Then, close your eyes, carry that image inward, and sleep in it. With repetition, the inner mirror will grow still, and the outer world will be compelled to reflect it. Remember, the mirror does not create. You do, but it will never fail to show you what you have chosen. Chapter 3. The River of Imagination. There is a river of light flowing through you, though no map marks its origin nor any ocean claims its end. It moves silently, invisibly, yet it is more real than stone and steel, for all stone and steel once emerged from its current. This river is imagination. It does not trickle, it does not hesitate. It rushes with an unstoppable force, carrying visions from the unseen into the realm of form. Every invention, every temple, every empire, every love song was once a ripple in this river. Yet most walk parched, unaware of the spring within them, searching for water outside while their own souls overflow with it. The awakened ones are those who dare to drink from within, who close their eyes and discover that the river responds instantly to the vessel of their belief. They do not ask, "Where will this river lead me?" They step into its current, trust its flow, and allow it to deliver them to the exact shores their hearts have already glimpsed. The sages of every age knew this truth. The Vedic seers called imagination manas, the inner bridge between the subtle and the solid. The Hermetic teachers declared that the universe itself is mental, born from the imagination of the all. The prophets spoke of visions and dreams as seeds of destiny. Even the Christ said, "According to your faith, so be it done." The word faith was never meant as hope, but as a vivid inner seeing of the end before the eyes could confirm it. A farmer plants a seed and does not return each hour to tear open the soil in doubt. He imagines the harvest with such quiet certainty that he labors with joy, waters with trust, and rests knowing the earth will do its part. You, too, are planting constantly. Every thought dipped into emotion is a seed cast into the river. The question is not whether you imagine, it is whether you imagine deliberately. Consider the story of the desert boy who dreamed of sailing the stars. His family was poor, his days spent under the heavy sun tending goats, yet every night he lay upon the sand and let his inner sight sail through constellations. In his mind, he built a vessel not of wood, but of fire and wind. He felt the ropes, the sails, the pull of galaxies in his chest. The villagers mocked him. "Ships are for seas," they said, "not skies." But he returned night after night to his inner ship. Years later, his hands built what his vision had already known, the first machine in his land to pierce the sky. To the world he seemed a genius, but he knew the truth. Genius is nothing more than loyalty to imagination. Those who mocked now marveled, yet the only difference between him and them was this: he stepped into the river while they stood afraid on its banks. Imagination is not deception. The lie is to believe only in appearances, to worship the desert while denying the oasis flowing within. A seed is not a tree, yet the tree is already written inside the seed. A caterpillar is not a butterfly, yet the wings are already folded within. To imagine the end is not to fool yourself. It is to honor the blueprint hidden in the unseen. The artist does not lie when she sees her painting before the brush touches canvas, nor the sculptor when he sees the statue before the chisel strikes stone. You, too, are an artist of reality. The brush is your attention, the paint your feeling, the canvas your imagination. And the moment you choose to live inside the picture of your desire, the river begins carrying it toward you, arranging circumstances, people, and events as faithfully as water shaping valleys. So tonight, enter the river deliberately. Do not scatter your power across 1,000 wishes. Choose one vision. Step into it so completely that your senses are fooled, your body persuaded, your heart at rest. If you long for love, feel the warmth of a hand already entwined with yours. If you long for wealth, sense the weight of abundance in your palm, the ease in your chest, the quiet dignity of freedom. If you long for health, feel strength moving through your veins, your body whole, radiant with vitality. Do not imagine as a spectator, but as an actor who has become the role. Then release the vision into the current and sleep as though it were already so. The river knows its course. Your task is not to question how or when, but to remain faithful to the feeling of already having received. For imagination without belief is a cloud without rain, But imagination married to certainty is a storm that waters the earth. The river never delays. It only mirrors the depth of your vision. Chapter 4. The Secret of Feeling. Feeling is the hidden altar upon which all prayers are answered. Words without feeling are empty shells. Images without feeling are shadows that dissolve at dawn. But when thought and imagination are clothed in feeling, they become living seeds, pulsing with the power to compel reality itself. Feeling is the magnet, the current, the invisible hand that moves what is unseen into what is seen. You may imagine wealth, love, or freedom with clear detail, but if your heart trembles with doubt, the mirror of the world reflects uncertainty. Yet if your heart rests in the calm assurance that it is already so, the universe bends to that assurance. For it is not the words you repeat, nor the pictures you hold alone, but the feeling you embody that writes itself into matter. This is the secret most overlooked. It is not enough to see your desire. You must feel it until your being is saturated with it. The sages of every lineage have spoken of this mystery in different tongues. The Vedic mystics taught that bhava, the inner feeling state, is the true key to union with the divine. The prophets of Israel wept and rejoiced in their visions until their emotions carried them beyond present appearances. The Christ himself, when asked to perform miracles, gave thanks before the miracle appeared. Gratitude is not polite manners, it is the vibration of having already received. To feel it before it manifests is to open the gate through which it must walk. Modern minds often cling to logic, asking, "How can I feel rich when my purse is empty? How can I feel loved when I am alone? How can I feel whole when I am sick?" But the law does not bend to logic. It bends to faith dressed as feeling. Just as a child can laugh in the dark because he imagines the sun, so can you feel abundance in the shadow of lack, and by that very act summon the dawn. There was once a woman who longed for a garden, though she lived in a barren land. Each day she stepped outside and saw only dust and stone, yet she closed her eyes and felt the cool shade of trees, the fragrance of blossoms, the rustle of leaves in a hidden breeze. She watered her barren yard as though flowers already bloomed there. Neighbors laughed, "Why pour water on dust?" But she felt differently. Her joy in the unseen was greater than her grief in the seen. Years passed, but her conviction never broke. One spring, rains came heavy, seeds carried on the wind took root, and soon her barren yard became the most radiant garden in the village. Those who once mocked now gathered in her shade. And when they asked, "How did you do this?" she only smiled, for she knew the truth. The garden bloomed in her feeling long before it bloomed in soil. So it is with every aspect of your life. If you wish to change your world, you must first change your feeling. Stand as one who already possesses what you seek, not as one pleading for it. When you pray, pray not as a beggar but as a receiver. When you imagine, imagine not as a dreamer but as a participant. If you desire health, walk through your day with the quiet dignity of one whose body already glows with vitality. If you desire wealth, feel the freedom of generosity, the ease of sufficiency, the thrill of opportunity, as if they already breathe through your life. If you desire love, rest in the warmth of companionship, the peace of being seen, the joy of intimacy. The outer form may take time to catch up, but feeling is the cause, and cause always precedes effect. Sacred practice. Tonight, before sleep, choose one desire and wrap it in feeling. Do not merely see the image, step inside it until your heart responds. Let gratitude rise in you as though the prayer were already answered. Whisper softly, "Thank you," not as a wish, but as a declaration. Feel the relief, the joy, the certainty of fulfillment. Sleep inside that feeling, for what you feel most deeply is what you call forth most surely. The world is clay, but feeling is the fire that hardens it into form. And as you master this art, you will see there is no distance between the inner and outer, between desire and manifestation. There is only the measure of feeling. Chapter 5. The Law of Assumption. There is a law that governs all things, silent yet absolute, invisible yet undeniable. It is the law of assumption. Whatever you assume with faith, whatever you take as true in the depths of your being, must manifest in your experience. The world is not a teacher, it is a mirror. It does not dictate your life. It reflects what you insist upon in thought, imagination, and feeling. To assume is not merely to hope or wish, it is to act, feel, and think as if the desired reality already exists. This is the power of creation, the mechanism by which stars take shape, rivers carve valleys, and the smallest desires rise from the hidden world of mind into the tangible universe. When you assume the state of the fulfilled self, the outer world cannot resist aligning to your inner reality. It bends, folds, and rearranges itself to obey your silent command. Consider the parable of the king who wished to find the wise sage. He traveled far, asking directions from villagers, merchants, and priests, yet none knew the way. Exhausted, he sat beneath an ancient tree and assumed that the sage was already by his side, ready to guide him. He spoke softly, "I am here to learn. I am ready." At that moment, a figure approached, unseen by all but him. The sage had always been there. He appeared only when the king assumed his presence as fact, not possibility. So it is with all manifestations. They exist invisibly until your assumption calls them forth. What you assume with unwavering certainty cannot fail to show itself, for the universe is constructed to serve the assumed truth of consciousness. The ancients whispered this law in sacred texts, though most read without seeing. The Hermetic axiom said, "All is mind." The Vedic seers taught that Maya, the appearance of reality, is shaped entirely by consciousness. Even the words of the Christ echo this principle. Whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Notice carefully. The instruction is not to hope or plead, but to believe as if it is done. Belief, when combined with feeling, becomes the iron rod that pulls the unseen into form. To assume is to place your consciousness firmly in the end, in the reality you wish to experience, and to live moment by moment as though that end is already your present. This is not fantasy, it is law. Imagine a man who desired wealth yet lived in scarcity. Each day he counted coins he did not have and worried over bills pressing him from all sides. The mirror of the world reflected exactly what he assumed: lack. One night, a teacher instructed him to assume the state of already being wealthy. "Close your eyes," the teacher said, "and live within the reality of your abundance. Feel it, see it, breathe it, as though it is already yours." The man followed. He imagined waking in a home filled with light, seeing gold and opportunities flowing freely, and walking among people who honored his power. Each night he slept in this state. Gradually, without visible struggle, doors opened, Alliances formed, and wealth flowed naturally, as though the universe had been waiting for his assumption to command it. This is the alchemy of the law of assumption. What you assume to be true must materialize, because the unseen always responds to the deepest convictions of consciousness. Sacred practice. Tonight, select one reality you wish to assume. Close your eyes and do not merely picture it. Step fully into it. Feel the sensation of already having it. Move, breathe, and speak inwardly, as though nothing else is possible. Let gratitude flow as if the world has already complied with your assumption. Sleep while holding this state. Tomorrow, carry it into your waking life with the same certainty, never doubting the truth of what you have assumed. Watch closely as reality bends to reflect the state you inhabit. Remember, it is not the world that must change. It is your assumption that changes the world. This is the secret that the wise have known and the powerful have wielded for centuries. The universe is obedient, but only to the mind that dares to assume. Chapter 6. Living in the End. There is a secret the world rarely whispers. To live in the end is to live in power. Most dwell in the means, in the how, in the waiting, in the endless calculation of steps and outcomes. Yet the truth is simpler, more profound, and infinitely more potent. Live as if the desire is already fulfilled. To dwell in the end is not wishful thinking, nor mere visualization. It is a state of consciousness, a frequency in which your mind, your body, and your soul vibrate as though your desire has already taken form. When you inhabit this state, the universe has no choice but to align. The rivers of circumstance curve toward you. The people, the events, the opportunities you need appear naturally, effortlessly, as though the world itself conspired to honor your inner certainty. To live in the end is to step into the eternal now, where past regrets and future fears dissolve, leaving only the radiance of what is already yours. Imagine a temple, hidden deep within a forest. Its doors are heavy, inscribed with ancient symbols. Inside burns an eternal flame, untouched by time or wind. The flame represents the end, the reality you seek. Most stand outside the temple, yearning, praying, hoping to enter. They push against the doors, question the path, measure the steps. Yet the doors only respond to those who do not knock in desperation, but enter in consciousness, already assuming they are inside. The flame does not require effort, it requires presence. The outer world is only a reflection of your inner state. If you live in the end, you inhabit the temple even while walking through the forest. Every stone, every shadow, every rustling leaf bends to affirm the state you occupy within. This is the law of the inner world. You must first exist in the reality you desire before it manifests outside. Consider the parable of the young musician. He wished to play in the grandest halls, to hear the applause that reverberated like a river of light. He had little skill, little opportunity, and the world seemed indifferent. Yet each day he would close his eyes and sit in the chair of the performer, feeling the weight of the instrument in his hands, the resonance of the hall, the warmth of admiration. He practiced not only technique but presence, living in the end as though he were already the master of every note, the center of every gaze. Eventually, doors opened, teachers appeared, and stages welcomed him. The applause was real, but the first reality he inhabited was always the one he imagined, the end already fulfilled. His inner life sculpted his outer life. Living in the end requires discipline, yet it is not effortful in the conventional sense. It requires alignment of thought, feeling, and action with the reality you desire. This is why so many fail. They act in the world of lack while imagining a world of abundance. The two cannot coexist without contradiction. To live in the end is to harmonize your inner world until it sings with the certainty of fulfillment. If you desire health, move and breathe as though you are already whole. If you desire wealth, handle resources with the confidence of one who knows abundance is their natural state. If you desire love, treat yourself and others as though love flows freely and endlessly to you. Each action, each breath, each choice becomes a note in the symphony of the end, resonating until the external world composes itself to your frequency. Sacred practice. Tonight, before you sleep, choose one desire and step fully into its completion. Do not imagine it as a possibility or a hope. Imagine it as fact. Feel the relief, the joy, the fulfillment of already having it. Speak silently to yourself in the present tense. Breathe it into your body. Inhabit the life you want with every sense. Let your last thoughts before sleep reside in this state, and let your first thoughts upon waking reinforce it. Live in the end until it is all you know. Watch as reality bends to meet the certainty of your inner state, for what is assumed with conviction must manifest. To dwell in the end is to wield creation itself. Chapter 7. The Power of Attention. There is a force within you more potent than any law, more precise than any instrument, and more responsive than the world itself. Attention. Attention is the lens through which reality is focused, the brush with which the universe paints your life. Wherever your attention rests, life begins to take shape, bending, curving, and forming to mirror the energy you offer. Most scatter their attention across fears, distractions, regrets, and uncertainties, and thus their world fragments in reflection. But when attention is concentrated, purposeful, and unbroken, it becomes a magnet, drawing circumstances, people, and opportunities with the inevitability of rivers flowing to the sea. To master life is not to control the world, but to master where your mind, your senses, and your heart place their gaze. The unseen listens, obeys, and mirrors what is given the full force of attention. Imagine a vast field at dawn, blanketed in mist. Each blade of grass leans toward the rising sun. Those who walk blindly through the field feel only the chill and dampness, unaware of the light guiding the earth. But those who lift their eyes, who notice the path of the sun, who allow their senses to attune to the movement of morning, suddenly see a panorama of brilliance. They recognize patterns invisible to the hurried glance. They feel currents of energy previously unnoticed. They step in harmony with a rhythm larger than themselves. Attention is this gift. It is the alignment of consciousness with life's flow, the deliberate noticing that commands reality to reveal its treasures. Where your gaze rests, energy will follow. Where your mind lingers, creation begins. Consider the story of a painter who wished to capture the essence of a single tree. Every day he wandered the forest, but ordinary eyes saw only a forest, trees in their masses, leaves in their numbers. Yet he trained his attention upon one tree, following the way its branches curved, how light struck its bark, how shadows clung to its roots. Hours turned into days, days into weeks, yet he did not tire. The tree responded to his attention, or rather, he responded to the tree until the line between observer and observed dissolved. When he painted it, the canvas held more than a tree. it held its soul. Life mirrors attention in the same way. What is truly observed, felt, and focused upon grows until it becomes undeniable in form. You do not merely notice, you summon, you awaken, you manifest. Mastery of attention requires discipline, yet it is deceptively simple. It is not distraction that must be eliminated. It is the divided mind. When thoughts are scattered between fear and desire, doubt and imagination, reality fractures. But when you intentionally direct attention to the desired end, the unseen responds instantly. Imagine a candle flame in a darkened room. Your attention is the hand that tilts the candle toward the desired spot. The flame does not hesitate. It does not debate. It only moves as you guide it. Attention is the sacred instrument by which the mind shapes the mirror of the world, and the world itself becomes clay in your hands. To master attention is to master creation itself, for no force in the universe is more responsive than the concentrated consciousness of a being who knows what they want and holds it with unwavering focus. Sacred practice. Tonight, select one desire and devote your attention entirely to it. Close your eyes and bring the vision into the forefront of your mind. Observe every detail as if it is present. Feel it, hear it, smell it, live it. Notice the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of already having it. Do not glance away. If the mind drifts, gently return it, as one tending a sacred flame. Sleep in this state. Let it fill your last waking moments and awaken holding it first in your consciousness. With sustained attention, the invisible begins to gather, assemble, and form around the focus you have chosen. Attention is not mere observation, it is invocation. Where your consciousness dwells, reality must follow. Chapter 8. The Art of Revision. There is a secret hidden in the fabric of time itself, the power to rewrite the past. Most live burdened by memory, convinced that events, mistakes, and failures are permanent chains around the soul. Yet within the sanctuary of imagination, the past is fluid, a malleable canvas upon which you may paint the truth of what could have been. The art of revision is not denial, nor is it fantasy. It is the sacred practice of entering memory, adjusting the events, the emotions, the endings, until they align with the reality you wish to inhabit now. Every moment you hold regret, every scene you replay with sorrow, every story you retell with pain, you feed the mirror of life with shadows. But when you rewrite it in imagination, the world itself begins to respond. The past is not fixed. It is a landscape shaped by consciousness, waiting for your hand to restore it to harmony. Imagine a temple buried beneath centuries of dust, its sacred murals cracked and faded. Scholars may declare the past lost, irretrievable. Yet a restorer enters with brush in hand, guided by vision, intuition, and care. Every stroke does not erase history, but restores it, revealing the truth hidden beneath neglect. So too does your imagination restore your personal history. Close your eyes and revisit a moment of failure, of shame, or of loss. Observe it, yes, but do not linger in judgment. Instead, step into the scene with the knowledge of mastery. Rewrite the outcome. See yourself acting with courage, receiving love instead of rejection, feeling strength instead of weakness. Emotionally inhabit this revision until it resonates as undeniably true. The universe cannot distinguish between original and imagined in consciousness. It only responds to what is deeply believed. Consider the story of a woman whose heart had been broken by betrayal. She spent years recalling the pain, replaying the scenes in her mind, letting bitterness shape her present. One night, guided by a teacher, she closed her eyes and rewrote the memory. In her revision, she acted with grace, understanding, and resilience. The betrayal became a lesson, not a wound. Each night she repeated this practice, feeling the new outcome as fully real, as if the past had always unfolded this way. Slowly, she noticed subtle changes in her life. Relationships that once echoed hurt now reflected respect and love. Opportunities she had feared lost now flowed effortlessly to her. By revising the past within, she reshaped the present without force, without struggle, simply by allowing imagination to correct the record and align consciousness with the truth she wished to live. Revision is more than memory work. It is the foundation of creation itself. Every creation begins as a memory imagined into perfection before it appears in the world. When you revise, you do not merely change a story. You align your energy with the harmony of life. You clear the debris of doubt, fear, and regret, opening a channel for desire to flow uninterrupted. To practice revision is to take responsibility for every moment, not with guilt, but with sovereignty. Your mind becomes a sacred editor, capable of restoring the integrity of your inner world so that the outer world may mirror it. The past does not confine you. It teaches you the skill of rewriting, the mastery of the unseen, the knowledge that consciousness is the ultimate sculptor of reality. Sacred practice. Tonight, revisit one moment from your past that still holds tension or regret. Close your eyes and imagine the scene as it truly could have been, acting with courage, love, or wisdom. Feel the emotions of the corrected memory fully, as though it had always unfolded this way. Repeat until the resonance feels undeniable. Then, carry this revision into your waking life, allowing your present to be informed not by old pain, but by the harmony of imagined truth. Your life is not chained to what has been. It bends to the measure of what you feel and assume. Revision is the sacred brush, the tool through which your soul restores perfection to both memory and reality. Chapter 9. The Science of Belief. Belief is the invisible architect of your reality. It is the silent law that molds the formless into form, the unseen hand that sculpts the clay of experience. Most live with belief unconsciously, absorbing the judgments, fears, and limitations of others, and then wonder why their world reflects scarcity, rejection, or failure. Yet belief is neither abstract nor passive. It is living, pulsing, and deliberate. What you hold as true, what you accept without question, becomes the blueprint upon which your life is constructed. To master existence, then, is to master belief. To consciously choose what you will accept as real, and to allow that choice to guide your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Nothing in the external world can override the conviction that resides within you. The world is obedient only to the intensity and clarity of your inner belief. Imagine a seed buried beneath soil. Its potential lies hidden, yet it contains the blueprint of a tree, of leaves, of flowers, of fruit. Until it believes in its own unfolding, it remains dormant. The gardener waters, nourishes, and protects, but the seed's own internal certainty directs its growth. Belief functions in the same way within you. Your desires, your dreams, your potential exist now, encoded within the fertile ground of consciousness. To manifest them, you must feed them with unwavering belief, the certainty that they are already real. The moment belief resonates with feeling, imagination becomes action, and the world begins to bend, shift, and respond to the invisible power you have cultivated. Consider the story of a young scholar who wished to master an ancient language. Every attempt seemed futile. The characters danced across the page like clouds in a storm. Doubt whispered, "You are not capable. You will fail." One evening, a teacher instructed him, "Close your eyes and believe you already know it. Live as though mastery is your birthright. Speak to yourself in that language. Feel the fluency as if it courses naturally through your mind." The scholar obeyed. He practiced not with mere effort, but with the inner certainty of one who already knew. Weeks later, the words that once seemed impossible now flowed effortlessly. The language had always existed within him. Belief was the key that unlocked it. Reality had conformed to his conviction, illustrating that the unseen responds only to the intensity of inner certainty. Belief is more than hope, wish, or imagination. It is the state of knowing. It does not question timing, method, or external proof. It simply exists as an unshakable certainty, radiating from your consciousness into every corner of experience. Fear and doubt are the twin shadows that weaken belief, scattering energy and fracturing reality. Yet even the smallest spark of true belief can illuminate the path ahead, guiding your mind, body, and world into alignment. Every thought, every decision, every interaction becomes a reflection of what you truly believe. To master belief is to master creation itself, for it is the seed from which all visible reality springs. Sacred practice. Tonight, select one area of your life where doubt has clouded your perception. Close your eyes and feel the reality of what you desire as already fulfilled. Believe not with words, but with every cell, every heartbeat, every breath. Let the feeling of certainty saturate your being until no shadow of doubt remains. Sleep in this state and awaken carrying this unshakable belief into the day. Watch as the world begins to shift, bending to the resonance of your inner certainty. Remember, belief is not passive. It is the science of creation, the law that cannot fail, and the mirror that reflects only what is assumed to be true. Chapter 10. The Power of Assumption in Action. There is no greater force than the mind aligned with assumption, for it is the engine through which all desires move from the unseen into the visible. The law of assumption is not abstract. It is the practice of living as though what you long for is already true, even when your senses and the world appear to contradict you. Most struggle because they assume scarcity while seeking abundance, fear while desiring freedom, doubt while wishing for certainty. Yet, when your assumption is unwavering, when every thought, feeling, and action is rooted in the reality you have claimed, the universe bends and unfolds without resistance. Assumption is not a wish, it is a declaration. It is not a hope, it is a knowing. You do not ask for what is coming, you receive what is already yours. The moment you assume, you compel creation itself to obey. Consider the story of a merchant who desired to expand his trade beyond the borders of his city. Each morning he visualized the markets bustling with his goods, imagined the joy of customers, felt the satisfaction of wealth flowing steadily into his hands. Yet at first, no ships came, no merchants appeared, and no gold flowed. Most would have abandoned the vision, convinced the world resisted them. But the merchant did not waver. Every day, he assumed the state of success, rehearsing it in imagination, feeling it with every breath, speaking it silently as though it were already manifest. Over time, opportunities arose naturally. Merchants sought him out, shipments arrived on schedule, and his business flourished beyond his initial dream. The law of assumption had acted, not because the world had changed suddenly, but because the merchant's inner reality had been transformed first. The outer reality could only mirror what had already been assumed. Assumption is the silent architect of destiny. It is not about forcing outcomes or manipulating circumstances. It is about entering the state of fulfillment and dwelling there until the world conforms. The universe responds to your internal state with absolute precision. Imagine a sculptor shaping clay. He does not plead with the material. He assumes the form in his mind and works from that certainty. The clay, soft and malleable, yields without struggle. So too does reality yield to your assumed state. When you act, speak, and feel from this inner reality, the events, people, and opportunities that must appear are drawn naturally into alignment. Assumption is both sword and shield. It cuts through limitation and protects the inner truth of your desire from the noise of doubt. Consider another example. A young artist who longed for recognition yet faced constant rejection. She spent years polishing her craft, studying technique, and yearning for acknowledgement. Then she discovered the law of assumption. Each morning, she assumed herself to be celebrated, held exhibitions in her mind, felt the applause as if it were tangible, and allowed the joy of recognition to flood her body. She acted not from scarcity, but from the state of being recognized. Within months, invitations came, her work was displayed, and admiration flowed naturally. Her assumption had reshaped reality because she had lived inside it first. The outer world could only reflect the certainty she held within. Sacred practice. Tonight, choose one desire you wish to manifest and enter its reality fully. Do not linger on doubts, obstacles, or timing. Feel it, embody it, breathe it as though it is already accomplished. Move through your day, act in accordance with this inner reality, and hold your consciousness there with unwavering faith. The world will align itself to the reality you have assumed. Sleep in this state tonight, awaken in it tomorrow, and continue to live as though the desire has already been fulfilled. This is not wishful thinking. It is action from the highest plane, the deliberate application of the law of assumption. The universe bends to those who act from certainty, for what is assumed in consciousness cannot fail to appear. Chapter 11. The Mirror of Reality. The world you see is but a reflection of the world you hold within. Every circumstance, every encounter, every event is a mirror, precise and unyielding, showing not what is real, but what your consciousness has accepted as true. Most live unaware, blaming fortune, others, or time for their lot, never realizing that reality bends to their inner state. The mirror does not lie. It only duplicates faithfully what is held in thought, emotion, and belief. To master life is to master the inner world, for the outer world is merely the echo, the shadow, the reflection of your consciousness. When you understand this, every moment becomes sacred, for every reflection is an opportunity to notice what you assume and adjust the image accordingly. Imagine standing before a polished lake at dawn. The surface is calm, yet it perfectly reflects the sky above. Clouds, trees, light, all appear exactly as they exist overhead. But what if the mind projects anger, fear, or doubt? The reflection will distort, waves will appear, shadows will dance. The lake does not control the reflection, it merely mirrors. Your life functions in the same way. When you cultivate clarity, gratitude, and the certainty of fulfilled desire within, the world mirrors these states with fidelity. Yet the slightest tremor of doubt ripples outward, bending circumstances to the vibration of uncertainty. The power of the mirror lies in its obedience. Whatever you hold as true inside manifests outside. Your attention, imagination, and feeling are the lens through which this mirror forms reality. Consider the story of a man trapped in poverty, yet dreaming of abundance. He saw lack everywhere. Empty shelves, closed doors, dismissive faces. The world reflected scarcity because scarcity was what he assumed. One day, guided by a teacher, he began the practice of imagining himself wealthy. Each morning he felt the relief of abundance, the freedom of generosity, the ease of financial security. Each evening he closed his eyes and reviewed the day as if wealth were already present. Slowly the world began to shift. Opportunities arrived, allies appeared, doors opened, and abundance flowed naturally. The mirror had responded perfectly, reflecting not what was, but what had been assumed in his inner state. The law is simple yet absolute. Reality is obedient to consciousness, and consciousness is obedient to feeling, belief, and assumption. The mirror of reality is not only a tool but a sacred guide. It reflects your true state, revealing where your attention lingers, where your doubts reside, and where your imagination and feeling align. To look upon it consciously is to gain mastery. Every disappointment, frustration, or obstacle becomes a message. This is what you assume, consciously or unconsciously. Change the inner image, live in the desired state, and the reflection alters effortlessly. Just as the sculptor does not fight the marble, but shapes it with precise intention, so too does consciousness shape reality by holding a steadfast inner vision. The universe has no will apart from yours. It mirrors exactly what you allow to dwell in the depths of your mind and heart. Sacred practice. Tonight, take one area of your life where the reflection is unsatisfactory. Close your eyes and imagine the scene as it would appear if your desire were fulfilled. See the people, the circumstances, the events, as they would naturally occur in this perfected state. Feel it fully, as though it is already so. Repeat until the resonance feels undeniable. Then, carry this inner reality into your waking day. Observe the outer mirror and notice its response. Adjust, refine, and live within the truth you hold inside. The mirror will never fail, for it only reflects what is held with unwavering certainty in the mind and heart. The world bends effortlessly to the clarity of consciousness that sees itself as already complete. Chapter 12. The Sacred Power of Persistence. There is a quiet force, unrecognized by the distracted mind, that determines the destiny of every life. Persistence. Not mere stubbornness, nor the shallow repetition of effort, but the sacred act of steadfast inner devotion to the reality you desire. The world is full of those who give up at the first resistance, who abandon vision when the currents of life resist them. Yet the persistent soul knows that the outer world cannot dictate what is real. It responds only to the inner state, to the unwavering attention, feeling, and assumption held despite appearances. Persistence is the drumbeat that sustains manifestation, the rhythm through which imagination, belief, and action converge into form. Without it, desire flickers like a candle in the wind. With it, it blazes, unstoppable, illuminating paths that once seemed impossible. Imagine a river carving a canyon through stone. The water does not plead with the rock. It does not grow weary, nor does it rush. It persists, flowing day and night, season after season, shaping valleys, forming lakes, and sustaining life along its banks. In the same way, your inner persistence shapes the contours of your outer world. Each repetition of focus, each renewal of belief, each deliberate act of living as though the desired reality already exists, is a drop of water in the river of creation. No obstacle, no doubt, no fear can withstand the constant, steady force of a mind and heart committed to their inner vision. The universe bends only to persistence, for it is the faithful echo of consciousness, unwavering in purpose. Consider the story of a sculptor who dreamed of crafting a masterpiece from the hardest marble in the land. Day after day, his chisel struck the stone, often breaking against resistance, frequently yielding nothing visible. Many would have abandoned the effort, convinced the task impossible. Yet the sculptor persisted, guided by the vision of the statue in his mind. Each strike was deliberate, each adjustment informed by the image he held within. Years passed, and slowly form emerged from the block. When the final piece stood revealed, it seemed effortless, perfect, divinely shaped, but the true miracle lay in persistence, the unwavering alignment of thought, feeling, and action over time. So it is with every desire. Only those who persist in consciousness, despite appearances, see the unseen made manifest. Persistence is more than effort. It is devotion. It is the sacred loyalty to the inner state you have assumed, the refusal to allow circumstance, fear, or doubt to dilute the certainty of your vision. It is the knowing that every delay, every obstacle, every trial is not resistance, but a mirror, reflecting where persistence must deepen, where focus must sharpen, and where the inner reality must be lived more fully. The world itself conspires in favor of the persistent mind. Doors open only when the inner hand knocks without wavering. Opportunities arrive only when the consciousness that assumes fulfillment refuses to bend. To persist is to honor the law that all things are mental, that reality is obedient, and that the river of creation flows most swiftly for those who do not divert their energy into doubt or impatience. Sacred practice. Tonight, choose one desire and commit to persistent inner living for it. Close your eyes and feel the reality of your wish as already fulfilled. Repeat this vision consistently until the feeling saturates every fiber of your being. Each time doubt arises, return to the inner certainty, to the vivid imagining, to the feeling that your desire is complete. Sleep in this state, awaken in it, and carry it into every thought, word, and action tomorrow. Watch as the world begins to shift in response to your unwavering inner commitment. Persistence is not the struggle of effort, but the quiet force of devoted consciousness. Through it, all that you imagine, all that you assume, all that you feel as true must inevitably manifest. Chapter 13. Aligning with Infinite Possibility. There exists a field beyond thought, beyond reason, beyond the structures of limitation, a boundless realm where all possibilities reside simultaneously. Most walk through life unaware of this infinite expanse, believing that circumstances, genetics, or history define the boundaries of what can be achieved. Yet within consciousness, every potential exists now, waiting to be assumed, claimed, and expressed. Alignment with infinite possibility is the practice of stepping into this field consciously, of holding awareness that reality is not fixed, that every moment is pliable, responsive, and fertile. When you align with this infinite potential, your thoughts, your feelings, your imagination resonate with the frequency of creation itself, and the world, obedient to consciousness, begins to bend in service of your vision. Imagine a vast night sky, countless stars glimmering in every direction. Each star represents a path, a possibility, a life yet unmanifested. Most stare at the sky and see only distance, darkness, or impossibility. Yet those who learn to align their vision with possibility can reach beyond perception, extending their consciousness until it touches the light of countless stars simultaneously. In this field, you are not limited to one path, one outcome, or one identity. You may feel the presence of abundance, love, freedom, and mastery all at once, knowing that the external world will arrange itself to reflect the aspects you choose to inhabit most fully. Infinite possibility is not chaos, it is the source of all order, waiting for your conscious attention to orchestrate it into form. Consider the story of a traveler who wandered a forest seeking a treasure rumored to lie hidden in a distant valley. He carried maps, tools, and plans, yet each attempt to locate the treasure failed. One night, he was instructed to abandon all maps and techniques and instead imagine the treasure fully, vividly, as if he had already found it. He pictured the gold, felt the relief and joy, and heard the laughter of gratitude. By aligning his consciousness with the infinite possibility of fulfillment, the forest itself seemed to shift around him. Paths appeared, obstacles dissolved, guides arrived, and the treasure, long hidden from ordinary perception, revealed itself. The secret was never the forest or the treasure. It was his alignment with the field of possibility, where the unseen obeys the mind attuned to its truth. Alignment requires practice, presence, and courage. It is easy to assume limitation, to believe in scarcity, fear, or doubt. Yet these are mere reflections of unfocused attention, not the truth of what is possible. To align with infinite possibility, you must cultivate a state of being that embraces the fullness of what can exist. This is achieved through imagination, feeling, assumption, and persistence, each element reinforcing the others until consciousness resonates with the vastness of creation itself. When aligned, the mind no longer negotiates with reality, it commands. The doors of limitation fall away, leaving only open space for your desire to flow, for opportunity to arrive, and for life to mirror the vision of your fully aligned self. Sacred practice. Tonight, lie quietly and imagine a reality that exceeds your current expectations. Feel every detail, the joy, the abundance, the freedom, the love, the mastery. Do not limit yourself to what seems possible. Allow yourself to dwell in the field of infinite potential. Sense the presence of everything you desire as already real. Sleep in this alignment, and upon awakening, carry the state into your day. Notice how circumstances, people, and events bend to reflect this inner resonance. Alignment with infinite possibility is the conscious act of claiming your birthright, a universe that mirrors the depth, clarity, and certainty of your inner vision. Chapter 14. The Alchemy of Desire. Desire is not mere longing, nor a fleeting hope. It is the divine spark within, the sacred compass pointing toward your fullest expression. Most perceive desire as something external, a goal, a possession, a condition to be achieved, yet true desire is internal, a pulse of energy that reverberates through every cell of your being. It is the voice of the infinite within you, whispering the path of creation, signaling the alignment of your consciousness with what is yours to claim. When understood and harnessed, desire becomes alchemy, transforming thought, emotion, and imagination into tangible reality. What the world calls effort is but the shadow of inner alignment. What creation responds to is not struggle, but the vibration of fulfilled desire flowing without hesitation through your being. Imagine an ancient laboratory filled with mysterious instruments, flasks glowing with color, powders shifting under the touch of unseen forces. The alchemist works quietly, guided not by chance, but by intimate knowledge of laws unseen. Each mixture, each movement, each subtle vibration is not random. It is deliberate, precise, and aligned with the hidden nature of matter. Desire functions as the same sacred instrument. When felt, imagined, and assumed as real, it interacts with the invisible laws of existence, catalyzing transformation in both inner and outer worlds. The universe itself is the alchemist's laboratory, and your consciousness is the vessel through which transmutation occurs. Each longing you carry, when fully embodied, becomes a potent force capable of reshaping life itself. Consider the story of a woman who wished for freedom from limitations imposed by circumstance. She felt trapped by society's rules, by the judgments of others, by her own perceived lack. Yet each night she sat quietly and imagined herself living fully, her body free, her mind at peace, her life abundant. She felt the emotions of liberation, the joy of independence, the ease of living without fear. She did not ask, she assumed. Slowly, doors she had not dared approach opened naturally. Circumstances shifted, allies appeared, opportunities she could never have predicted manifested effortlessly. Desire, fully embodied and aligned with inner certainty, had become alchemy, turning limitation into freedom, absence into presence, dream into living reality. The alchemy of desire is not passive. It demands engagement, awareness, and devotion. You must feel your wish fulfilled, speak it silently, as if reality already echoes it. Act in accordance with the state of fulfillment, and persist despite appearances. Every doubt, every hesitation, every flicker of fear must be recognized and transmuted into renewed attention, imagination, and belief. When desire is treated as sacred energy rather than a problem to solve, it flows naturally, aligning mind, body, and world. It is the silent command that bends circumstances, the invisible force that orchestrates events, and the subtle fire that awakens the hidden pathways through which manifestation occurs. Sacred practice. Tonight, choose one desire that calls to you most deeply. Close your eyes and feel it fully, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Sense the joy, relief, freedom, or abundance as if it already exists. Speak to yourself silently in the present tense. Breathe it into your being. Move in harmony with this state. Repeat each night, holding the resonance as completely real. Watch as life responds to the vibration of your desire, bending, shifting, and opening with effortless grace. The alchemy of desire is not magic. It is law, a sacred interplay of thought, feeling, and assumption that transforms vision into experience. Chapter 15. The Awakening of Mastery. There comes a moment in every journey when the mind perceives that the world has always been a reflection of consciousness, that the unseen has governed the seen, and that every law, every rhythm, Every subtle current has been responding to the pulse of your inner state. This is the awakening of mastery, the recognition that you are not merely a participant in life, but the orchestrator, the conductor, the sacred mind through which creation flows. You have walked through the chambers of imagination, the halls of assumption, the rivers of attention, and the fields of infinite possibility. Each step has been a layering of frequency, a tuning of consciousness, a preparation for the moment when outer reality bends with effortless grace to match the inner certainty you now carry. You are not separate from power. You are the embodiment of it, a living conduit of the laws that shape all things. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean at sunrise. The waves stretch infinitely, each one a reflection of the light within the sky. The air is filled with the promise of possibility, yet the horizon remains unseen, unclaimed, open to your attention. You understand now that the tide moves only as the mind moves, that currents follow the direction of consciousness, and that no force exists outside your reach when aligned with the certainty of being. The past you once lamented, the failures you once feared, the desires you once doubted, all have been teachers, mirrors, and catalysts, shaping the mastery that is now your inheritance. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption you hold is the brushstroke with which the universe paints your reality. Mastery is not a destination. It is the awareness that you are already the instrument of creation and that every moment is an opportunity to wield this sacred power. Consider the story of a seeker who spent decades searching for truth outside himself, in books, in teachers, in rituals, in faraway lands. Yet the moment of awakening arrived not in a temple, not on a mountaintop, but within the quiet chamber of his own consciousness. He realized that the universe had been reflecting his inner states all along, that each failure was a mirror, each desire a seed, each assumption a law of unfolding. He had sought power outside, yet it had always been within. The unseen, always responding to the frequency of his mind, aligning circumstance, events, and people with the inner truth he carried. In that moment, he stepped fully into mastery, not as a goal, but as recognition. The universe bends only to the consciousness that knows itself as already complete. Mastery is not control over others or over circumstances. It is the harmony of mind, feeling, and imagination with the infinite. It is the ability to assume, to imagine, to persist, to align attention, to revise the past, to dwell in the end, and to hold belief unwaveringly. It is the conscious choice to live from the state of fulfilled desire rather than reacting to the shadow of limitation. Every law explored in this journey, the law of assumption, the law of attention, the art of revision, the field of infinite possibility, converges into one simple truth. Reality is obedient to the mind that knows what it is and acts from certainty. To master life is to understand that nothing exists outside you that has power without your permission. You are the architect, the sculptor, the musician, the alchemist. Every thought is a note, every feeling a stroke of color, every assumption a seed in the fertile soil of reality. Sacred practice. Tonight, sit quietly and breathe deeply, feeling the full spectrum of your mastery. Recall the desires you have assumed, the past you have revised, the attention you have focused, and the infinite possibilities you have aligned with. Sense yourself as complete, capable, and sovereign, not in the future, but in the eternal now. Breathe in this realization. Let it fill your cells, your heart, your consciousness. Sleep in this state, awaken in it, and carry it into your life. Each moment henceforth is an opportunity to witness the obedience of the universe, to command reality with certainty, and to embody the sacred power that has always resided within. You are not seeking mastery, you are living it. The universe bends effortlessly to the frequency of consciousness that knows itself as infinite, complete, and eternally creative.